The beeper revolution, how a simple device connected the world before cell phones, the dawn of personal communication. In the tapestry of human innovation, few inventions have been as simultaneously revolutionary and forgotten as the pager, affectionately known as the beeper. This small rectangular device, no larger than a deck of cards, once represented the cutting edge of personal communication technology. To understand how this humble gadget captured the imagination of millions and became an indispensable part of daily life in the 1980s and 1990s, we must journey back to its surprising origins that stretch back much further than most people realize. The visionary behind the beep, Al Gross, and the birth of wireless communication. The story of the pager begins not in the slick corporate offices of the 1980s, but in the inventive mind of a young radio enthusiast named Alfred J. Gross. Born in 1918 in Toronto, Canada, and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, Gross was a child prodigy fascinated by radio technology. By age 9, he had already built his first amateur radio station. This wasn't just a childhood hobby, it was the foundation of a lifetime dedicated to wireless communication. During World War II, Gross served his country not on the battlefield, but in the laboratory, where his innovations would prove equally vital. He developed portable radio communications equipment for the Office of Strategic Services, OSS, the precursor to the CIA. His walkie-talkie and Joan Eleanor system allowed for secure communication between ground troops and aircraft, technology that would save countless lives and change the nature of military communication forever. But Gross's vision extended far beyond military applications. In 1949, this remarkable inventor filed a patent for what he called a paging system. His idea was elegantly simple, yet profoundly transformative. Create a small, portable device that could receive wireless signals, alerting the carrier that someone needed to contact them. He envisioned a world where doctors could be reached in emergencies, where business professionals could stay connected even when away from their desks, and where the tyranny of being tied to a physical location would finally be broken. From concept to reality, the early years Gross's initial pager design was rudimentary by today's standards, a small radio receiver that would emit a tone when activated by a central transmitter. The user would then need to find a telephone to call back and retrieve their message. Despite its limitations, the concept was nothing short of revolutionary for its time. The first practical application of paging technology came in the 1950s, when hospitals began using in-house paging systems. Doctors and nurses could be alerted to emergencies anywhere within the hospital grounds without the need for overhead announcements that might disturb patients. The Motorola company, recognizing the potential of this technology, became an early pioneer in developing commercial paging systems. In 1958, Motorola introduced one of the first practical pagers to the market. However, these early devices were bulky, expensive, and limited in range. They were luxury items accessible only to wealthy professionals and large institutions. The pager remained a niche product, waiting for the right combination of technological advancement and market conditions to explode into mainstream consciousness. The golden age, when beepers became cool. The transformation of the pager from utilitarian tool to cultural phenomenon occurred gradually through the 1970s and accelerated dramatically in the 1980s. Several factors converged to create the perfect storm for pager popularity. First, technological improvements made pagers smaller, more reliable, and significantly cheaper. The introduction of integrated circuits and improved battery technology meant that by the early 1980s, pagers had shrunk to pocket-sized devices that could run for weeks on a single AA battery. What once cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars could now be purchased for under $100, with monthly service fees of just $10 to $20. Second, the expansion of telecommunications infrastructure created wider coverage areas. Regional and national paging networks emerged, meaning a doctor in New York could be paged while visiting family in Florida. This reliability and reach made pagers genuinely useful for the first time to a broad segment of the population. But perhaps most importantly, clever marketing transformed the pager from a mere communication tool into a status symbol and cultural icon. Motorola, PageNet, and other paging companies crafted campaigns that positioned beepers as essential accessories for the modern, connected professional. Having a pager clipped to your belt wasn't just practical, it announced to the world that you were important, that people needed to reach you, that you were part of the elite class of decision makers who couldn't afford to be out of touch. If this story captivated you as much as it did us, don't forget to give this video a like. It helps us bring more forgotten 19th century technology back into the spotlight. Subscribe to stay connected and continue exploring with us through the forgotten technology.